The man whose historic record Lionel Messi just broke has spoken out, and what he said was not what many people expected. No excuses, no back in my day. Quite the opposite. Ronaldo Nazario, the Brazilian, one of the greatest legends in this sport, delivered a quote that is already making its way around the entire soccer world. Stay with us, because this is going to interest you. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Football Radar. If you like soccer and want to stay up to date with everything happening in this 2026 World Cup, you already know what to do. Hit the like button and subscribe, because we have a month packed with matches and unforgettable moments ahead of us. And today, we have a big one. Because Argentina made its debut, Messi did what Messi does. And the reaction from the soccer world was immediate. But there was one voice that carried more weight than all the others. Let's take it step by step. Let's set the scene. Argentina began its title defense at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City against Algeria in the first match day of Group J. And this was not just any debut. The Albiceleste arrived as the reigning world champion, with all the weight and pressure that comes with that. Every opponent wants to be the one that beats the champion, and Algeria came in with the dream of pulling off an upset. But what looked like it could be a nervous debut turned into a perfect night. Final score, Argentina 3, Algeria 0. And the 3 goals? All from the same man, all from Lionel Messi. The first came in the 17th minute, a left-footed shot from outside the box into the top corner, the kind we have seen from him 1,000 times and that never stops being surprising. The second came in the 69th minute, taking advantage of a rebound from the goalkeeper after a shot by McAllister. And the third came in the 76th minute, once again from outside the box, assisted by Nicolas Gonzalez, to complete the hat trick and make the stadium explode. But here comes the important part, because this was not just another match. With those 3 goals, Messi reached 16 goals in World Cups and tied Germany's Miroslav Klose as the all-time top scorer in World Cup history. Let me give you a couple more details, because they are impressive. It was his 200th match wearing the Argentina shirt, and he became the first player ever to play in 6 different World Cups. 6. And as if that were not enough, his goal came exactly 20 years after his World Cup debut, back in Germany 2006. And there was one detail that touched everyone. He looked emotional, on the verge of tears. Messi himself later admitted that he had been going through difficult days on a personal level. That is why that emotion was no coincidence. And as we are going to see, that was exactly what sparked some of the most beautiful reactions. Now yes, let's get to the reason for this video. Of all the reactions Messi's performance generated, there was one that hit differently. And it came from someone with total authority to speak on the subject. Ronaldo Nazario, the phenomenon, a 2-time World Cup champion with Brazil, one of the most feared strikers in history. And pay attention to the detail that makes all of this even more interesting. The record Messi took away from him belonged to Ronaldo. The Brazilian had 15 World Cup goals, and Messi surpassed him to reach 16. In other words, Ronaldo was speaking about the player who had just erased one of his personal records. And what did he do? Did he get upset? Did he look for an excuse? None of that. The first thing he said was, word for word, records are made to be broken, and the person breaking it does not surprise any soccer fan in the world. Besides, Argentina is the current reigning champion of the competition. Impressive, right? He downplayed his own record and acknowledged the context, but he did not stop there. Because when he was asked about Messi's place in soccer history, he delivered the quote that ended up going around the world. Every time Messi steps onto the grass, everything else becomes historic and elegant. It is time for the world to stop hiding and accept the fact that he is the greatest player of all time. The greatest player of all time, said by Ronaldo, by a Brazilian legend, in the middle of the eternal rivalry between soccer schools. That is what makes this statement worth gold. And here I want to pause for a second because I understand the weight of what Ronaldo said. He is not a journalist. He is not just another fan on social media. He is someone who played at the highest level, who won everything, who knows from the inside how hard it is to get there. Remember who we are talking about. Ronaldo Nazario is a 2-time world champion. He was the great star of the 2002 World Cup, where Brazil lifted the trophy and he finished as the tournament's top scorer. He lived through the pressure of carrying an entire country on his back and delivered. That is why, when someone with that kind of career takes his hat off to another player, it is not just a random phrase. It is someone who knows exactly how difficult it is to do what Messi does. He is not speaking from envy or resentment. He is speaking from the respect of someone who was in that same place. There is another detail worth remembering. Messi did not only take Ronaldo's World Cup scoring record. Throughout his career, he also surpassed his record for most goals in a single league season by a Barcelona player, when he reached 35 in the 2011-2012 season. In other words, this is not the first time Messi has gone beyond the Brazilian's numbers. And even so, Ronaldo chooses to bow to talent instead of defending his own achievements. To me, that says a lot about the greatness of both of them. And pay attention, because this did not come out of nowhere. In May 2025, the International Federation of Football History and Statistics had already named Messi the greatest player in history, placing Pelé second, Maradona third, and Cristiano Ronaldo fourth. So the phenomenon's quote adds to a debate that, number by number, seems to be leaning more and more toward one side. And if we think about it calmly, the arguments are on the table. Messi lifted the World Cup in 2022, that title that for years was the only missing piece critics used against him. He added the Copa America, won several Ballon d'Or awards, set records with his clubs and with the national team, and now he is making history again in a World Cup at an age when most players have already hung up their boots. It is not just talent, it is talent sustained for almost 2 decades at the highest level. When you put all of that together, you understand why more and more authoritative voices are willing to say what Ronaldo said. And you know what the best part of all is? Messi's response when he was asked about the record. Because he kept that humility that defines him. He said something along the lines of it being an honor to be there, alongside close, but that to him, it does not mean anything, that it is just a statistic. And he made a huge gesture. He named Ronaldo himself. He said, word for word, Ronaldo, from the players I saw, was one of the greatest, and he is not first, so it all just remains a statistic. In other words, while Ronaldo crowns him as the greatest in history, Messi returns the compliment and puts the numbers into perspective. A back and forth of respect between two different generations. Beautiful to see, and they were not the only ones who spoke. Wayne Rooney focused on the emotional side, on those tears from Messi, saying that when a player like that cries after a goal, you realize he still loves this game like a child. Arsene Wenger, for his part, was clear. He said what we saw was the continuation of a career that redefined the standards of excellence in soccer. And even Algeria's coach, Vladimir Petkovic, surrendered to him. Class is permanent, he said about the Argentine. In other words, from rivals, from legends, from coaches, the recognition was unanimous. So that was Ronaldo Nazario's comment. One of Brazil's greatest legends, openly recognizing that Lionel Messi is, for him, the greatest player of all time. And he said it right after the Argentine erased one of his records. That is greatness, recognizing greatness. Now the question for you, and I want to read your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with Ronaldo? Is Messi the greatest in history, or is there still a debate? Leave it down below because I read all of you. Argentina plays again on June 22nd against Austria in Dallas, so we will be covering everything. If you do not want to miss anything from the World Cup, you already know what to do. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and like this video because it helps me a lot. See you in the next one.